So if you're type A, you likely don't need anybody to tell you that it's really not all it's hyped up to be. Frankly, I think the term itself is pretty stupid. A, as if it's suggesting that it is the best, the preferred, or the primary way of being. From the outside, it might seem that way. Those around you might think that you're just a really driven overachiever with your life all nicely figured out. But you know that on the inside, it often feels like you are drowning in overwhelm and stress and constantly battling against the clock. So as someone who has a bit too much type A-ness himself, I'm rebranding the term to type anxiety-ridden, overthinking, unnecessarily hyperactive workaholic. And I just said anus, didn't I? So being type A means you're prone to make a lot of mistakes, but not necessarily mistakes of sloth or laziness, but mistakes of ambition. We think that we can do it all. We can always do a little bit more. We can do it faster next time. And we set our expectations so ridiculously high for ourselves that we would have to do everything perfectly in order to reach the bar that we set for ourselves, which immediately sets us up for failure, because how the fuck are you supposed to do everything perfectly when you're an innately flawed human being who voluntarily wears slippers out in public and still is unsure of how to do his taxes? It often feels like we are behind, feels like we're not doing enough, and always playing catch up. But if we took a moment to reflect, we would see that this is actually a really distorted perspective of reality. We are often, in fact, doing way too much. So much to the point where our inability to slow down, to relax and recharge begins to compromise our mental health and our ability to do our best work.
On a sunny morning a few weeks ago, I felt compelled to discard my usual routine for the day and go a bit slower. I slept in till I could not sleep anymore, and upon waking, I didn't do any of my usual tasks. Instead, I went out into the sun and enjoyed its warmth on my skin and the stillness in the air as I trimmed my fingernails. And out of nowhere, this wave of bliss came over me. The rapture of the present moment. Instead of thinking of the future, or the next thing I had to do, I was entirely anchored in the now, in the sun on my skin, the sound of the breeze through the leaves, and a simple act of self-care. It was a pace that I seldom allow myself to slow to, and it was exactly what I needed. In my journal later that morning, a quote struck me from memory, and I felt motivated to recall it and ponder it on the page for a while. It is as follows. Yet after all, the truly efficient laborer will not crowd his day with work, but will saunter to his task surrounded by a wide halo of ease and leisure, and then do but what he loves best. He is anxious only about the fruitful kernels of time. Though a hen should sit all day, she could lay only one egg, and besides would not have picked up materials for another. Let a man take enough time for the most trivial deed, though it be but the paring of his nails. The buds swell imperceptibly, without hurry or confusion, as if the short spring days were an eternity. Then spend an age in wedding thy desire. Thou needst not hasten, if thou dost stand fast. Some hours seem not to be occasion for any deed, but for resolves to draw breath in. We do not directly go about the execution of the purpose that thrills us, but shut our doors behind us and ramble with prepared mind, as if the half were already done. Our resolution is taking root or hold on the earth then, as seeds first send a shoot downward, which is fed by their own albumin ere they send one upward to the light. A Week on the Concord and Merrimack Rivers, Henry David Thoreau.
So what does all of that mean in practice? Well, I can't really say that I figured it out. I'm still very much on my journey of unlearning my bad habits, but I have done a couple of things to help balance my life, I guess you could say. One of them is installing an app blocker on my computer so that when I'm at work, and also when I'm not at work, I'm not doing things that are sending me down the dark hole of social media. And the other thing is I'm only prioritizing 2 things on my to-do list every day. One of them is like the most important thing that I have to get done, and the other is something that's actually for me. And it's been making sure that I focus on things that are actually going to rejuvenate me and make me feel better and swing the needle back in the other direction. And I think that that's been helping a lot. But again, I'm still so very new to doing whatever you call this. So if you have anything that's worked for you, or if you're struggling with something along the way, I would be very happy to discuss any and all of those things in the comments. So I hope that some of you other type A's got something out of this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.